Alright, what's up guys? Jawa here and welcome to the channel. So, you've seen the movies, you've heard the stories, and now you're thinking, hey, I want to get into hacking. Well, you've clicked on the right video because today, we're kicking off your journey for 2025. Forget everything you think you know from Hollywood. We're not talking about mashing keyboards and seeing access granted pop up in 3 seconds. We're talking about the real deal, the art, the science, and the discipline of cybersecurity. This is your ultimate beginner's guide, and I'm gonna walk you through everything, step by step, to get you started on the right foot. Now before we dive in, let's get one thing crystal clear. This channel and this entire journey is all about ethical hacking. That means learning how to break things so you can learn how to protect them. It's about knowledge, curiosity, and using your powers for good. We're going to be your friendly neighborhood guides, showing you the ropes in a safe, controlled, and legal way. Think of it like learning to be a locksmith, not a burglar. We're here to build skills, not a criminal record. So, if you're ready to learn, stay curious, and maybe even turn this into a career, then stick around. This isn't going to be some high-level theoretical talk that goes over your head. I've designed this roadmap specifically for absolute beginners. You don't need a computer science degree or years of IT experience to get started. All you need is a willingness to learn and a bit of patience. We'll cover everything from the fundamental concepts to the actual tools you'll be using, how to set up your own safe practice lab, and even the legal stuff you absolutely need to know. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear, actionable plan to start your hacking journey in 2025. Let's get to it. First things first, you can't build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation. Before you even think about firing up any cool-looking hacking tools, you need to understand what you're actually trying to hack. That means getting cozy with the fundamentals. How does the internet actually work? I'm not just talking about opening a browser, I mean what happens when you type in a URL and hit enter. What are TCP/IP, DNS, and HTTP? You've got to learn the rules of the road before you can even think about bending them. This is non-negotiable. It's the difference between a script kiddie who just copies and pastes commands and a true professional who understands the impact of every keystroke. And it doesn't stop with the internet. You need to get comfortable with operating systems, and I mean really comfortable. While you might be used to Windows or Mac OS, the world of hacking and cybersecurity is dominated by Linux. Start there. Learn the command line until it feels like a second language. Understanding how file permissions, processes, and services work is absolutely crucial. For resources, dive into free courses on platforms like Cybrary. If you're serious and want a structured path, look into the study materials for certifications like the CompTIA Security Plus. You don't have to take the exam right away, but the curriculum is a goldmine for foundational knowledge. Okay, once you've got a handle on the basics, it's time for the fun stuff, the tools. This is the digital toolkit that every ethical hacker needs to be familiar with. The undisputed king here is Kali Linux. It's a Linux distribution that comes pre-loaded with hundreds of powerful security tools. It's your Swiss Army knife. You'll also want to get to know Wireshark, which is like a superpower that lets you see all the network traffic flowing in and out of your computer. Then there's Nmap, the network mapper, which is your go-to for discovering hosts and services on a network, basically, for mapping out your target. And we can't forget Burp Suite. This tool is essential for web application testing. It sits between your browser and the internet, allowing you to intercept, inspect, and modify the traffic. It's how you find vulnerabilities in websites. Now, a massive word of caution. These are powerful tools. You do not just point them at any website or network you feel like. That's illegal and will get you in a world of trouble. The only place you should be using these is in a safe, controlled environment designed for learning. That's where platforms like TryHackMe and Hack the Box come in. They provide virtual sandboxes where you can legally practice and hone your skills on vulnerable machines. Speaking of safe environments, let's talk about building your very own personal hacking lab. This is probably the most important step in this entire guide. You need a safe space where you can break things, test exploits, and learn without any risk of damaging real systems or breaking the law. The best way to do this is with virtualization. Software like VirtualBox, which is free, or VMware, allows you to run multiple operating systems on a single computer, completely isolated from each other. This is your digital playground. Your main computer stays safe and sound while you conduct your experiments inside these virtual machines or VMs. Your first step is to download and install VirtualBox. Then, you'll create a new VM and install Kali Linux in it. This will be your attacker machine. But who are you going to attack? You'll need a victim machine as well. Don't worry, we're not talking about anything sinister. There are specially designed, intentionally vulnerable operating systems you can download for this exact purpose. Metasploitable is a classic example. It's a Linux VM that's riddled with security holes for you to find and exploit. Another great option is DVWA, or the Damn Vulnerable Web application, which you can run to practice your web hacking skills. Setting up this lab is your top priority. Now you might be thinking, do I really need to learn how to code? And honestly, the answer is a resounding yes. You don't need to be a top-tier software developer, but you absolutely need to understand programming and scripting. Why? Because it's a force multiplier. It allows you to automate repetitive tasks, customize your tools, and most importantly, understand how exploits actually work under the hood. When you can read and understand code, you move from being a tool user to a problem solver. You can analyze a piece of malware or write your own custom script to test for a specific vulnerability. So, where should you start? The #1 language recommended for hackers is Python. It's relatively easy to learn, incredibly versatile, and has a massive number of libraries for networking and security. You should also get familiar with Bash scripting. Since you'll be living in the Linux terminal, being able to write simple scripts to automate command sequences will save you a ton of time. And if you're interested in web hacking, you can't escape JavaScript. Understanding how it works on the client side is critical. Finally, a basic understanding of SQL will be invaluable for learning about SQL injection, which is, honestly, one of the most common and dangerous web vulnerabilities out there. This chapter might not seem as exciting as the others, but I promise you, it's the one that can save you from ruining your life. We need to have a serious talk about laws and ethics. Hacking without permission is illegal. It's not a gray area, it's a crime. It doesn't matter if your intentions were good or if you were just looking. Unauthorized access is unauthorized access, and it can land you with hefty fines, a criminal record, and even jail time. Before you do anything, you must understand the laws in your country, like the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act or CFAA in the United States. Ignorance is not a defense. Beyond the law, there's the ethics of it all. The ethical hacking community operates on a principle of trust. You only ever test systems that you own or that you have explicit written permission to test. This is the golden rule. Think about it. Companies pay ethical hackers, also known as penetration testers, a lot of money to find vulnerabilities. They do this because they trust that the hacker will report the findings responsibly and not cause any damage. Breaking that trust hurts the entire industry. I highly recommend you read up on the Hacker's Code of Ethics. It's about curiosity, sharing knowledge, and making the digital world a safer place, not causing harm. Alright, so you've been practicing in your lab, you're getting good with the tools, and you're thinking about how to turn this passion into a profession. This is where certifications come in. Now, let me be clear. Certifications are not a substitute for hands-on skill. You can't just memorize a book and expect to be a good hacker. However, they are incredibly powerful for a few reasons. First, they provide a structured learning path, forcing you to cover all the essential domains of knowledge. Second, they act as a signal to potential employers that you have a verified baseline of skills and are serious about your craft. For beginners, a great starting point is the Certified Ethical Hacker, or CEH. It's very well known and covers a broad range of topics. A more hands-on and highly respected entry-level certification is the eLearn Security Junior Penetration Tester, or EJPT. It's 100% practical, requiring you to actually perform a penetration test in a lab environment. And then there's the big one, the holy grail for many, the Offensive Security Certified Professional, or OSCP. This is not for beginners. It's a grueling 24-hour exam that requires real skill and a try-harder mindset. Don't rush into it, but keep it on your radar as a long-term goal. Hacking is not a solo sport. You're not going to learn everything you need to know locked away in a basement by yourself. One of the best things you can do for your growth is to become an active part of the cybersecurity community. There are tons of amazing forums, Discord servers, and online groups where you can ask questions, share what you've learned, and connect with people who are on the same journey. Follow cybersecurity content creators on YouTube and Twitter. You'll be amazed at how much you can learn just by immersing yourself in the conversation and seeing what other people are working on. And above all else, practice, practice, practice. The theory is important, but hacking is a practical skill. You need to spend hours in the driver's seat. This is where capture the flag events, or CTFs, are invaluable. They are competitions where you have to find flags, pieces of text hidden in intentionally vulnerable systems. Websites like TryHackMe, Hack the Box, and CTF Time are packed with these challenges, ranging from super easy for beginners to mind-bendingly difficult for experts. Spending your weekends working on CTFs is one of the fastest ways to build real, tangible skills and a portfolio of accomplishments. This journey can feel overwhelming. We've covered a ton of ground today, and it's easy to feel like you have a mountain to climb. So here's my final piece of practical advice. Start small and stay consistent. Don't try to learn everything at once. Pick one thing. Maybe it's learning basic Linux commands or understanding how Nmap works, and focus on that for a week. The key is to build a habit of learning. Even 30 minutes a day, done consistently over a year, will lead to absolutely massive progress. It's a marathon, not a sprint. The people who succeed are the ones who show up every day. A great way to reinforce your learning and track your progress is to document everything. Start a blog, a GitHub repository with your notes and scripts, or even a YouTube channel like this one. The act of explaining a concept to someone else is one of the best ways to solidify it in your own mind. It also creates a public record of your journey that you can show to future employers. Build simple projects. Maybe write a small Python script to scan for open ports on your lab machines. Celebrate the small wins, and most importantly, stay curious. Always be asking why and how. That curiosity is the engine that will drive you forward. And that's a wrap. That is your comprehensive roadmap to starting your ethical hacking journey in 2025. We've covered a lot, from the foundational knowledge and tools to building your lab, and most critically, the laws and ethics. Remember, this path is all about continuous learning and responsibility. The digital world is constantly changing, with new technologies and new vulnerabilities appearing every single day. Your job as an ethical hacker is to keep up, stay sharp, and use your skills to make things safer for everyone. Always hack with permission, always act with integrity, and never, ever stop learning. Now for a few bonus tips to keep the momentum going. Immerse yourself in the culture. Watch shows like Mr. Robot for inspiration, but remember it's fiction. Or check out documentaries to understand the real-world impact of cyber attacks. Pick up some classic hacking books like The Cuckoo's Egg or Ghost in the Wires. And don't be afraid to leverage modern tools. AI assistants like ChatGPT can be fantastic for helping you understand complex code or generating scripts, as long as you understand the underlying concepts yourself. Think of them as a learning accelerator, not a crutch. This is just the beginning for you, and I'm genuinely excited to see where you go from here. If you found this guide helpful, do me a huge favor and smash that like button. It really helps the channel out. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you don't miss future videos where we'll dive deeper into these topics. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and let me know what part of the journey you're most excited about, or share your own tips for beginners. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.